Hello and welcome everyone to a Women Empowerment Edition Impact for Change. The purpose of this podcast is to provide the space to women to share their stories in an inspiring way to help impact and inspire others, women outside there to create the change. Today's guest is one of the empowering women I have ever known personally. Her story is not only inspiring but empowering as well. She wrote a book about her life called From Victim to Victory. Oh my God, what a powerful title. Now, a lot of us go through the challenges and so many challenges that can, affect our life. Now, today she's going to share with us some of these challenges that she went through and she wrote on that book as well. So please help me welcome the amazing and inspiring lady, Yamine. Yamine, are you there?
Hi. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for your beautiful words. I am just a humble servant, but I hope that my story could really empower you and your audience, and that I can be of help for anybody who feels stuck in the traumas and the experiences. Hi.
Hello again and welcome, Yamine. Let's get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Well, I do a lot, but I will be brief. My name is Yamine Trotman, as you say. I am 43 years old. I am a mom of two beautiful girls, 19 and 20, and 21, sorry. And well, I am an entrepreneur, and I have two businesses. One is a welding company, and the other is about healing. And the name is Heal Me, Healing You. I will tell you a little bit about that as we go on the interview. And I am also a teacher. I am I am an activist. I have strong opinions, and I am spread. I am, I am an artist. I am also a motivational speaker, and I am an interpreter, and I am change. I am an agent of change. So that is a little bit of what I do.
Goodness, what an empowering. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on your book and you're writing your first book, which is our today's topic, from victim to victory. Tell us what really inspired you to write this book and what's this book about?
Well, what inspired me to write this book, I was motivated because of my experiences. I realized at one point of my life that I didn't acknowledge the resilience that it stored within me, and I didn't acknowledge the pain and the anger that was caused because of my experience. I only just thought, I believe all the voices in my environment that used to tell me that I was never going to marry because of how angry I was. All those voices that used to tell me that I was real trouble because my mouth was my weapon. I learned to defend myself. So then it came a point in my life where I realized that all those actions were motivated because of what my story was in my past, all the things that I've been through. So in that book, I talk about how I was sexually abused by my own father. I talk about my bad experience and how I misunderstood my mom and that I hated her for years. And I think that most of us, we misunderstand our moms because we tend not to see her as a woman, but we have those high expectations of what parents should be. So I
Mm,
had high expectations of the thing that she was not doing so well according to me.
mhm,
And I failed to see her as a woman, as a single woman who brought up four children and
mhm,
who came through a very abusive relationship with my dad. And also in my book, I speak about us growing up. I spent a lot of time alone, and my mom was always at work. I also speak about my relationship with my siblings, and also I speak about my first love, which was a guy who was twice my age, and
mm.
he died in a motorcycle accident, and that caused me to actually change from living in Venezuela, and I start my life here in Trinidad.
Wow, wow. It seems like you've gone through a lot of challenges in your life. And I'm sure women outside there who is hearing the story today, or they're going through a similar journey as you. This story is gonna help them really and inspire them. So you've talked about the sexual abuse. You talked about about a lot of things, a lot of these challenges. How did you navigate through these challenges?
Well, it was not easy, and it still not is, because healing is not a place where you get to.
Mm,
Healing is a process, and I think it's a lifelong process, because I think, as I put it, sometimes when you are healing from something, then something else happens. So
mm,
you never stop healing. But when I talk about the experience that I talk about the book, first of all, my daughter was asking me the other day, Mommy, you think it is possible for you to heal from your traumas separate from religion? And I
mm,
tell her no. Without God, I would not have been able to learn to love myself, because what it is that when you are sexually abused, the first thing that you hate yourself, and you show that hate by being promiscuous,
mm,
which I was. I had a lot of sexual relationships, and I also had this belief that for me to show that I love somebody, it needed to be sexual. So I didn't have any self-worth within me, and I thought that the only thing that I was worth is how good I was in bed. So I had
mm,
that belief. So I think that it without knowing how much God loved me, I would have never get to the place where I will start to love myself, because the Bible says, "Love yourself as love others as you love yourself." But
mm,
if you don't love yourself, you will not be able to love anybody in a healthy way. So religion was my first thing, but also therapy.
mm,
I went to therapy. I am still in therapy. Sometimes I call my therapist when I'm going through something, because what healing does is for you to recognize your triggers,
mm,
and you recognize how things affect you. So it's very
mm,
important that in the process of healing, it's more like knowing yourself and knowing
mm,
what you've been through and knowing what are the symptoms of the things that you've been through. So when those triggers come along, you will not react the way how you used to react. Because before, when I didn't
mm,
know that I was sick or traumatized, I used to react with anger,
mm,
anxiety, depression, coping, non-healthy coping mechanism like alcohol, weed, or sex. And
mhm,
now I am triggered. I need to meditate. I need to take some time for myself. I need to breathe deep. I need to retrieve myself. I need to remove myself. And now I know how to deal with it. So therapy, and
mm,
also a lot of self introspection, knowing who you are,
mm,
what you've been through, and forgiveness. Because without forgiving, I would not be able to look at myself, because I needed to forgive the person who did things to me, and also forgive myself for making so many mistakes because I was angry. So I think all those elements are is the beginning of healing.
Wow, wow. First of all, I commend you for your courage, to be able to stand up again and pick yourself up and just work on yourself. You say forgiveness, you said, to start the healing, it require a lot of things. When did you learn, that you're traumatized when you're traumatized at that when did you learn that you are not a victim anymore, and you can change and you can create a different story, a story only you are in control of.
Well, it took me a while. I can't say that it was immediate, but I could tell you when it began. I could
Mm,
tell you a day. It was maybe about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
mm-hmm,
Um, More. I always keep forgetting the 2 years of COVID. So it was 5 years ago. I was lying down on my couch. I had hit bottom rocks. And how I
mm,
knew I was on the bottom because my husband he was asleep, and my daughters they start calling me that lady. They stopped calling me mom, and I was on my couch lying down. I remember I drank whole night, and I was lying down on my couch crying, and I was thinking, googling ways to kill myself,
mm,
and I was totally distraught. And I remember feeling hopeless. And then I went to my therapist.
mm,
How I started going to therapist, my husband and I went to counseling to fix our marriage, which was unfixable. And the
mm,
therapist started to tell me, listen, I cannot help you with your marriage, but maybe if you want, I can work with you because I see that you have some issues that are there inside of you. And she started to talk to me, and then I realized maybe I am not a bad person. I am just a hurt child who been through so much and didn't address all the things that I had inside of me. And at that point, I start to forgive myself, to realize that my decisions were based on my pain. So because
oh,
when you are going through, when you've been through so much, you become a person to survive. And that person is not a very healthy person. You are just trying to survive. And so that was the beginning of change.
wow, wow. I'm sure women out there at the moment, I mean, they, who are going through, abuse or any challenges that's in their life, when they hear this, they will really get inspired. I know you've talked about you overcame this challenge by, by praying, by working on yourself. But what would you say to other women, the women who are going through, you say the abuse, whether like mentally, physically, emotionally, and they can't get out of it because it can be such a hard for some people and some women that they can't even get out. They're like stuck. They absolutely are stuck. So what you would say to these women today?
First of all, I will tell them it's okay that you are not your best self right now. It's okay that you have endured too much. It's okay that you choose the wrong guy because nobody taught you how to choose. Because one of the things with society is that they don't teach you to choose a man. You just see a guy and you choose him for how he look, or like how I did many times. I choose because I was in a financial situation and this guy could have helped me out, and then it ended up being an abusive relationship. Oh,
Mm,
he looks like my traumas. So most of the time we choose our traumas. We tend to look for those guys who need help because we knew
Mm.
that we needed help. So
Yeah.
I will tell them that it's okay that you are there right now in an abusive relationship,
Mm.
but I will tell you to be strong and to make a decision for you, because being in a abusive relationship, or being in a situation that you put yourself due to your traumas, is not the end.
Mm.
But it will take resilience, it will take discipline, and it will take self-love for you to pick up the pieces and realize that you can make another life
Mm.
somewhere else, in another home, or you could start from zero, but just have a plan and stick to it. Because I know when I left my abusive relationship, that I don't really speak about in my book because my children still growing up and I didn't want it to hit them with that story.
Mm.
I went back 3 times to the abuse. Why? Because I felt like I couldn't do better. I felt like I could not start over on my own. So I will tell you
Mm.
that you need to be strong, that you need to stick to the plan, and you tell yourself, yes, it's hurting right now, but there's nothing that time will not heal.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more because sometimes the abuser think they are in control and they can do because they know the other person weakness. They know their weakness and they know what really triggered them and they know they can't leave them and they keep feeding them mentally and emotionally false and negative things about themselves, which is not true at all. So I like what you did, like you mentioned that you said you kept going 3 times. You went 3 times back because you wasn't felt enough. What what is, I'm not gonna say what inspired you to create the change, but what did you do? What that person did that makes you say enough is enough? I need to leave this relationship. I need to move on. And you know that you are better than you better without that person.
Well, what really inspired me to leave was I look at myself. First, and I will tell you religion. I started going to church. He made
Mm,
me. I have to thank God for him for that, because thanks to the abuse,
mm,
and I want to make a pause here and say that I choose this guy, and he was the exact same thing as my father.
mm,
So when you're in an abusive relationship and you have to actually look back to the relationship and the house where you grew up.
mm,
Normally, when you start to look at your relationship, you will see patterns of your father. And maybe that is a topic for another day, because that is a whole topic by itself. When we don't have a good relationship with our parents, how we go and marry them.
yeah.
So so, so now, as I move on from there, now I say that what made me leave him, it was because I first of all I was planning. If I tell you how many times I tried to kill myself, and the thing about it
Mm,
is that I want to tell you, any listener, who, if you are meditating on taking your life, I want you to take to step back and realize what you have been through. And all those things that you've been through is what is making you unhappy. And you need to stop thinking about what happened to you in the past, and you need to make a plan for the future, because there's hope. I
mm,
am at that point, I was feeling to take my life again. I already had 2 children.
mhm,
And he keep accusing me of being unfaithful, and I
mhm,
was not. And I end up then saying, you know what, you accusing me, you beating me for being unfaithful. I am not unfaithful. So what I'm going to do, I am going to be unfaithful for it. So I start being unfaithful to him, and obviously I was going to church, and I start to feel now guilt for staying and guilt for being promiscuous. So I look at myself in the mirror and I was like, what are you doing? You are going down a rabbit hole, and I was feeling awful about myself. And I end up having that close look face to face with myself. And I was like, we cannot continue doing this. And I already was very, very hurt. And because of the things that happened in my past and because of the things that I was doing presently, so that, and because I cannot even say that it was my children that inspired me to leave. I
Mm,
think it was myself, my self-worth. I was like, what I'm doing with my life, with my body, with my emotional state. I think my whole 7 dimensions were affected by this. And
mm.
that is how I built up the courage to finally leave.
Wow, wow. I'm so glad that you laughed. So glad, so
Yes,
glad that
the
you laughed.
person I am today. And while I was talking about all those things, and I look at me today, and I am so proud of myself. And for those who listening and going through, listen, I am doing my bachelor's degree in social work. I already wrote my second book, and it's on
Wow.
editing stages, and I am planning for my third book. And I have actually, I was, before this interview, I was lying outside there with my husband on the hammock, and the breeze was blowing. And I telling you, I have such an amazing life today, and it was all a mindset. It was all inside here. I was a slave of my past in my mind. I kept myself in a prison because of
Mm.
all the things I've been through. You have the key. Open the gate, open the lock, and come out and be free.
Wow, wow. I mean, what an incredible. I mean, the listener who's gonna listen to you women out there, they're gonna say, wow. They're gonna give you like, they're gonna clap for you and the accomplishment that you had right now because I know her personally, ladies and gentlemen. I know Yemi personally. I know what she have been going through, and I know how far she have came. So this is by a milestone. It's an incredible accomplishment. But for the person, yeah, I mean, because I know you survived abuse, and some people don't even know they are in an abuse relationship. They don't even know because I know you did talk about it's in their hand to free themselves. So all the mindset. It's true. It's all the mindset. But some people, they're not even aware of it. They're not even aware of they are in abusive relationship. So from your experience, what sign, you know, that you saw, because I know you had different type of abuse. So what sign that you saw, or what sign that an abuser give, or a person that needs to be aware of to know whether that person is abusive or not?
First sign is that that person don't want you to have friends. That is the first sign that that person monitors you every phone call.
Mm,
Every time want to know where you, who you talking to,
mm,
checks your phone, because that was one of the things. And you know what is the other sign? He always used to tell me he wanted to build a glass case to keep me in, and he didn't wanted nobody to touch
wow.
me. And you know, at first, a damaged girl who have been through a lot, that was flattering. I was like, oh, he wants to keep me in a glass case. And obviously, coming from trauma, from not being loved properly, because I
Mm,
didn't have respect for myself, for me, that was flattering. Nobody loved me like that before. Nobody paid me attention like that before. So I
mm,
saw it flattering until it came to be so intoxicating that I was on the phone and
mm,
he will come and pull the phone from me. Who you talking to? And then, well, on that time, we didn't have video call and so on. So, but I could have imagined him hold their video calling me to see who I am with and all those sort of things. So, it's not normal
mm.
for your person to don't give you privacy because yes, you have a person, and especially if you are not married. If you are not married, well, worse. Your husband, you owe your husband a explanation of where you go and where you are, because you must tell him. But if that person wants to control where you go and what you do and what time you do it, I think that is a red flag.
Wow. I don't think even acceptable even if the person are married as well, you know, if the person say they don't want to, get control like this, it's not acceptable at all. Um to get control by a man, I think is the old mentality, and the people who like have the control fever, I call them control fever, they're sick. They're absolutely sick. I think that person, the first thing you say is control. So what other sign that a person that needs to be aware of when it comes to the identifying the abuser?
Also in mind games, because I realized that narcissism now it being normalized.
Mm,
And those mind games, anytime you are with somebody and that person only have derogative words to say to you, that he for you you're not good enough, you never could do anything, because the favorite words that I was submitted to was that I was not good, I was not
mm,
trustable, that I was never going to achieve anything on my own. You
mm,
going to school because I paying for it, and that is why you are somebody. And even if that person is actually paying for your school, as you going to the school, and you could pay for a school and not go to it. So it's I
mm,
actually you are helping me, but I am making the sacrifice to pass, because right now my husband is paying for my bachelor's degree, but if I am going to the school and actually getting the grades, so I am that person used to control me financially also, because that person didn't wanted me to work. And when I start working, then he stopped giving me money. And he said, well, now you have
mm,
your own money. So I needed to buy my own things. And then I remember that I was not allowed to open a bank account. And the first time I opened a bank account and he found out, I get beaten for it. So
my God.
actually abuse could be emotional, could be
Mm,
physical, and could be financial, and it could be sexual. So I was not a victim by this person of sexual abuse, but I was of physical and emotional abuse and financial abuse.
mm. Wow, wow. Now I know like why you say from victim to victory. Like you have called overcome a lot of trauma. I mean, what a courage, what an empowering woman. You're such a powerful, powerful woman. So you did talk earlier about healing as well. What did you do? What the first step you took toward healing? What's the first thing to do? Because I know you're still in a journey of healing. What's the first step that you took toward healing? Because I know women out there, they're abused, maybe they stuck, maybe they did come out of abusive relationship, and they don't know where to start the journey of healing. So what did you do? What the first step that you took toward healing?
Well, the first step I took coming out of my abusive relationship was giving myself another chance to love again,
Mm,
because I realized that we take our previous relationship into our next relationship. And that
mm,
is what does not allow us to actually be happy. So
mm,
it's like we pack all our bags of all the things that this person did to us, and then we go to the next person, and we are reactive. So every time if the person say, "Hey, why did you move this to the left?" You will be like, "What? I move it." And you will be
mm,
starting an argument, and the answer is, I move it because it was blocking the light, and I think the left will look better. So with my next relationship, I was very reactive. And I realized that the first 2 years was hell because I was emotionally, I was still within my previous relationship. So anything that,
Mm,
any question, like normally he will ask me, oh, what time you finish work? And I will be like, why are you asking me that?
mm,
I will start an argument. And he just asked me at what time, and the answer is I finish at 2. So one of the first steps is to leave whatever you learn in your
mm,
previous relationship behind. And if you need to go therapy, go because you will. After finishing a very traumatic relationship where you were controlled, manipulated, abused, shouted, lashed, kicked, you will need some sort of therapy for you to sort out your emotions. And I will advise you to stay alone for a little bit before you jump into another relationship. Stay alone for a little bit, find yourself, go therapy, go to the gyms, and start eating properly, and start to love yourself. And take care of your skin because I telling you, when I was in my abusive relationship, even though I used to go to the gym, I was drinking a lot. And
mm,
I didn't used to take care of myself. I didn't used to take care of my skin. I didn't used to take care of my hair. And all those things, I could show you pictures where I was a missing hair. I had like bald spots because I was not taking care of myself really.
mm,
So leaving one relationship, you need to acknowledge that
mhm,
you've been through an abusive relationship and that anything that is like a bruise up needs some time to heal. So
yeah.
I will advise you not to jump into another relationship, but take time to acknowledge what happened to you and how it affected you. And then after
Mm,
you are healed, then if you meet a next person, do not go with the baggage that you had in your previous relationship. So I think that is one thing that I didn't do. And that when I finally did it, I found the love of my life.
what an incredible ending. I mean, the start is more an ending, is the start of a beautiful journey. Amazing, amazing. This is a great advice, for women, and I'm sure women who are hearing this, will listen very attentive to what you actually said today. And I know you did start a motivation. It's like you do a Instagram live. It's called Healing Me, Heal You. Tell us about that.
Well, yes, I started that channel because I realized that plenty women and men and young people out there going through the same things that I went through. And
Mm,
that in this world is teaching you today, don't speak about it because people will think that something is wrong with you. And there's a lot of even highly successful people who are really, really suffering in private because the world is teaching you, bottle up, don't talk to nobody, and then you start to be anxious and you
mm,
start to be depressed and you start to auto-medicate yourself. You cannot sleep and you are angry, you lashing out at the driver on the street, and you want to know why those things are happening to you is because you're not addressing those things that are inside of you. So I created a channel and where I speak about things like that happen in a normal basis. Like I had an episode called "The Things I Blame My Mother For,"
mm-hmm,
and things like that. That things I went through that I speak like a normal conversation, and that I gave an advice of what worked for me and how I get over it. So it's a channel, where I inspire people to heal. And because there
mm.
are things that if you acknowledge that you are going through them, you can heal yourself, that you don't need a therapist.
Wow, it's an amazing and incredible, and I hope they can really reach out to you and speak to you, because I know a lot of people, they can resonate with you and resonate with your story, and the abuse, and maybe they are on a journey of healing, the journey of recovery, and the journey of loving themselves again and back again. Because some people, they can't even know how to start loving themselves back again
Yeah.
because of the damage that they actually, gained. The abuser caused them to, to the extent where they don't feel confident anymore. They don't feel self-love anymore. And now, do you think this challenge has helped you um personally, healing you? Do you think has even helped you personally as well in your healing journey?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I find myself watching my own videos because, it comes a point where you may be given advice and you're taking it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a human being as well. And when I
Mm,
speak about topics, I realize that they resonate with me and I actually work out situation because enlightenment is the first step for healing when you realize that you have a problem. So sometimes, obviously, my videos, I read a lot, and that is the next thing that you have to always read about. I read self-help books. That is all I read.
mm,
And when I work out something, I immediately do a video. And sometimes when I do the video, I haven't fully digest what I am saying. And
mm,
I do my research and so on. So while I doing the research and while I preparing to talk about the topic, then I realize, oh yes, and I find that that spot inside of me that it's like a fresh air, like, oh yes. Let me tell you, you could create a whole movie in your mind, a whole movie. And
mm.
it's all but it bottle up emotions that I don't know how to come out and come out on the wrong way. So
Ah, yes.
this journey of heal me, healing you have helped me a lot myself with working out situations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it helped, healing a lot of people as well. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, healing me, healing you. It's an amazing. I know it's going to be the start of something beautiful that help others out there. I think it's already did because I it helped me as well because I do watch you watch your videos all the time.
Thank you, thank you.
All the time. So I mean, what would you say to women, like who are victim of abuse today? What you would say to them, what advice that you give them today to help them to move from that being victim to create a victory in their life?
Well, all the things that I've been through, I acknowledge that they didn't happen to me to kill me, but to make me stronger. And there are women who need a helping hand,
Mm,
and there are women who do it alone. I was a lady who did it alone. Who nobody had to point me to healing, but I think my emotion, my psyche found healing. So I
mm,
think for powerful women who find healing on their own, we just throw our hand to the back and we
mm,
pull up people. So I take my pain and I create it as strength. How I feel so powerful. I feel so empowered. There's very little that can shake me. And I
mm.
will say yes. I will not say I don't cry because if I cry, then something is wrong. Because it's okay to cry.
Yes,
It's okay to cry. And
absolutely.
crying is not a sign of weakness. So I feel empowered. I feel like I am like a beacon of light for
Mm,
women who've been sexually abused and emotionally abused, and they feel like there's nobody talking about this, and I need to take my story and internalize it. I
mm,
am here to actually be able to help other women to find themselves into healing and to find themselves having like a channel to bring women together to to heal.
Mm.
I don't know if you understand what I say. I wish I could say it how I feel it.
I understand, and truly the listeners will understand as well. What
Yeah,
you're
I
saying.
wish I could say it how I feel it. I feel it like, women all through the world from all places and all colors and all languages, they suffer the same
Mm.
thing, the same abuse. It because abuse is not, it doesn't respect your social status. It does not respect your complexion. It does not respect. Abuse happen, and I want you to know that if you be you stronger, make you a powerhouse that you will be able to show other women who cannot do it alone. Be to hi, I think the signal dropped.
Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. Yeah. Yeah, that was like really incredible. Yameen, what you said there. People going through the healing, acknowledgement. Awareness. Is the most important as well. And I think also the environment as well. The environment help with the healing. When they feel that support system, have that support system around them, also help them with healing. Somebody taking their hand and walking them, that also can be an incredible and empowering as well. So I mean, if people want to connect with you or purchase your book From Victim to Victory, or even come in your live where Healing Me Healing You, where do they find you?
Well, I am in TikTok and in Instagram and in Facebook. My page name is like that, Heal in past tense because heal me, healing you.
Mm.
And also my book, you can get it in Amazon in America. And that is the way because my book is being sold wide world, but that is through my publisher. So if you want to buy my book directly from me, go to Amazon and I self-publish my book again. And there you can see all my publications. I actually have journals because journal was the two journals that I found a within season and another one called what focus on today because it was for me, everything that I write and that I focus on is things that really work for me, that help me on my journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, that you had just a little bit of internet connection, but that is fine. The listener will get what you actually meant. So, Yamin, thank you so much, for joining me in Women Empowerment Edition, Impact for Change podcast. And I hope your story help women out there and inspire women to create um, the change in their life and the first step in their life. So, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to connect with me, it's Hawaida Abdullah. It's in Instagram, on Facebook as well. And if you wanna listen to my audio, it's in a Spotify podcaster, or you can go to YouTube Women Empowerment Edition. And until I see you next time. Bye bye.